And the Rams from the Los Angeles Coliseum for the first time since the 1978 NFC Championship game. That is how we are rolling here on this Sunday morning on NFL Game Day Morning on NFL Network.
How you doing?
Yeah, Michael Irvin.
It was interesting.
He got a rose from The Bachelor yesterday morning. Last night he got a rose from the playoff football gods.
Hey, and you know what? I watched this game by myself, and you know, because Dolo Solo, because of the way you brought it up, you know, to 2009, and this is the first time I'm back on the set. So this was serious. This was serious. And I'm gonna tell you something. Watching the game, man, it was like the whole while you're leaving this game on the football field. And I was so worried about what you had talked about. If you leave the game on the field, sooner or later, somehow, Russell Wilson is going to figure out a way to beat you. But that defense held up. That defense held up. That was impressive. It was impressive. From a standpoint of my offense.
Props.
Come on, already?
Props.
What my offense did.
Oh, my God.
What my offense did, they played well. I got 100 yards out of Zeke. I got 100 yards out of Amari Cooper. And then I got those big plays. Those big plays that we needed at the time with his legs from Dak Prescott. And my defense.
Oh, he's got two guys.
And my defense shut everything down. Kurt, I told you yesterday when we were watching, I said my biggest concern is that offensive line going up against the Cowboys' defensive line. They shut it down. They shut it down. They didn't allow them to run the football at all.
I told you yesterday, he came out and he goes, it's America's team and we're going to do American stuff. And I said, yeah. The president shut down the government, so you guys went out and shut down the number one rush.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
American stuff, man. American stuff.
Look how Coach looking at us.
I got to ask the men without hats what they think of last night. What do you think?
You're probably taking credit for that win yesterday, too, because your video played right before kickoff,
You saw that, Coach. You saw it, and it got everybody up. I mean, they were crazy in that building. They were crazy in that building.
You're crazy.
Well, what happened to the Seahawks offense last night? Anybody?
Well, I mean,
I got on the hat, Rich.
First and foremost,
I got the hat on.
People are lighting up the play calling on Twitter for the last 12 hours. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it.
And you said that to me, you know, when we were in the locker room. What did you think of it? For me, that's what they've done all year long, is you watch them and you watch them on tape and they run on first down and they run on second down and then they pull out a play action. And so the formula was the same that they've used all year long. They just haven't been shut down like that since week one of the season. But to your point, when they threw the ball, there were big plays to be had on the second level. And we saw that numerous times. So I was a little bit mystified why they didn't take more shots in the second half and put the pressure on the secondary, because that front was playing. They were coming after them. They were getting the negative plays. I would have thought they would have thrown a little bit more just due to the success that they had earlier.
Okay, but now when you say big plays, let me just straighten this out. Now I've been hearing people say, oh, they made a few big plays. No, those weren't big plays. Those were perfect plays. Those were perfect. I mean, you couldn't have thrown that ball in it better because they were covered very well, and they still made those plays. The locket and the ball went on the sideline. Those were perfect plays.
Right before
They were perfect plays. That's what I'm saying. That throw, everything. It was a beautiful, perfect throw by Russell Wilson. So I'm saying great job in making the play, but that defense was right there, too.
Right before halftime, Dixon was wide open. Yeah. Then next time, here comes Lockett wide open for 40 yards.
They got that one. They got the last drive that they had to score the touchdown. I mean, how easy was that? When they took the chances to go down the field.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
And that's why. Let me say this. That's why when I watch him now, I ponder and wonder this. Is this the '91 Cowboys team where we went and beat Chicago Bears and then lost to Detroit? Or is this the '92 team where we went to San Francisco and was not supposed to beat San Francisco and went to the Super Bowl? That is yet to be revealed still by this team. But I was so encouraged by it because there's still so much more improvement that they can do and move forward. I'm just going to say that. Coach, you can take it. I think I've talked enough.
That was your segment, wasn't it? Hey, let's face it, that was a heck of a game. And, Rich, to your point about, Seattle not playing more wide open in the passing game, and Tyler Lockett is a heck of a football player. We talked about him yesterday making big plays. He had 10 touchdowns receiving last year, and then and returns too. But this guy right here, Ezekiel Elliott, they rested this guy for a reason against the New York Giants last week, didn't we? Because he was going to be the workhorse. And boy, he had 30 touches. You know, he had 137 yards rushing and a touchdown. He had 4 more receiving yards, and they did a good job keeping this kid fresh. But Seattle, Rich, that's what they do. They're leading the league in rushing, and they wanted to stay with the plan. It's like being a little arrogant, like we're going to do what we do, what got us here, throw the ball when we can,
right.
And it ended up to be a heck of a game.
Well,
that's not a blowout. That's a good
and
game.
if they would have had a kicker, they probably had a shot at
And I was just going to say, let's give a little bit of love to Dak, too. You know, I've been on him that I think this team goes as far as the defense and run game takes him. But he's going to have to make some plays. And I thought he made some huge plays, made a couple huge throws, and obviously came with his legs a couple times and made some huge runs. I just love what he did in the biggest moments of that game.
Can I give one last? Hold on. Can I give one last hosanna before we throw out here? Normally, I said this on Twitter, and I'll say it here on the show. Normally, when you've got a young quarterback performing well in a playoff game for his first career playoff win, normally when you see a running back and a wide receiver do what they did, by the way, first 100 from running back wide receiver in a Dallas playoff win since Emmett and you, Irv, in 1996. When you normally see the defense playing like this, and everybody's focused, you give credit to the coach.
Oh, God. Yes.
Jason Garrett deserves credit.
What's he doing? What are you doing?
Is everything okay? Can I say that?
Hey, he does a good job with these guys, man.
Garrett deserves credit for that.
What are you doing on the floor, Rick?
Because people don't like hearing that, and I don't want to get hurt. All right. Brian Billick won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm serious. Well, I'm up off the floor. There he is, Brian Billick, Super Bowl 35 winning head coach for Baltimore Ravens. So he's on our staff. He earned himself a ticket today's Baltimore Raven Los Angeles Charger playoff game, for which Amber Theo Harris is anchoring our coverage at the site. Amber?
Rich, that was a long time ago, and as Coach Billick and I said, we were both there. I had a lot fewer children. He had a lot more hair.
Yeah.
So a lot more has changed, but here we are again. And we didn't think we'd be here because this was a 4-5 team, this Ravens team. And then enter Lamar Jackson, and they've gone 6-1. What are you looking forward to most in this game?
Well, obviously, this is a running attack like we've not seen in the NFL ever. And it takes unique measures. And what the Los Angeles Chargers have to do, they've got to learn from the first game. You got to play a +1 defense. And by that, I mean you are not going to stop Lamar Jackson in this running attack with a standard spacing front. You've got to introduce numbers and angles. Sean O'Hara and I on Playbook talk about it all the time, right? Angles, you saw Cleveland adjust their angles on the inside defensively, and you've got to add the extra guy into the box. If you don't, you got no chance of stopping this running attack. And on the road, if you don't stop the running attack, you got no chance of beating the Ravens.
But Coach, Cleveland did not make that adjustment until the second half. Why are teams not doing that right out the gate?
Because it's hard to give yourself over to the dark side. You got to realize to play that +1, what does that mean? You got to play a lot of man on the backside. Yes, are you vulnerable to play action? And we saw Lamar Jackson get some big plays down the field, but you got a 50-50 chance of Lamar Jackson getting a big play down the field. You got 0 chance of beating the Ravens if you don't stop that inside zone, the pitch, and the toss outside.
He can make those plays, though. We've seen that with that big Mark Andrews play, but we'll see what happens today as Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they look to go 7-1 under him and advance to the divisional round where the New England Patriots await them. There's another game tonight, the Chicago Bears and the Eagles. Let's go to Chi-Town where Stacey